How to get whatever you want out of life. I was reading something, email this morning, and I was thinking about how just being able, that what most of us really want is to accomplish something. How can I put this? You have a goal, right? You have something that you want to accomplish, something that's important to you, you know. And at a young age, maybe you knew what that was, right? Maybe before you were 10 years old, or maybe you were 10, somewhere around that age. And then as you got older, the world got more complicated, right? And what you notice is that the people that become the most successful earlier in life, later in life, and when I say successful, I should caveat this with saying that you achieve the goal that you set out to do. Doesn't necessarily, it can mean money too, because money is always going to be important for, you know, providing for yourself and your family if that's what you have. But success means like get an A on a test or accomplish a squat or a certain deadlift, you know, write a book, make a YouTube video like I'm doing now. And the thing about this is to get whatever you want out of life comes from really just setting your mind to it and then just like putting all your focus there, right? I mean, you know how you're just saying, it's kind of, it's a cliche saying, it's like, it's you say you just didn't want it bad enough, right? You just didn't want it bad enough, that's why you didn't get it. And it's oversimplified because life is not that simple. But however, when it comes to accomplishing a singular goal, like going to the refrigerator to eat a grilled cheese sandwich, you go and accomplish it, right? Because you set out to do it. Now, there's something bigger, like launch a rocket and send humans to Mars, right? You have to be singularly focused on it. And, you know, that's just an example. A grilled cheese sandwich or a, what's the other one? A rocket ship to Mars, right? Colonize Mars. It takes an unrelenting spirit and focus and determination to get there. And that's probably about 80 to 90% of it. You know, there's a lot of other skills and abilities and, you know, luck that comes into play to getting to those goals, right? Making it to the fridge and getting lucky, and hopefully there's cheese and bread around. Like, no matter what it is you want to accomplish, if you set your mind to it, it's going to happen. This is what the hardest part is for people, right? It's choosing, right? Because once you decide what you want, it's just a matter of basically once you choose and you become stubborn as hell, you're going to get there. And what happens along the way when you have like a big goal, using Elon Musk as an example, like shooting a ship into Mars, going to Mars, like throughout the process of building this ship or whatever you're doing, going to Mars doesn't necessarily have to be going to Mars. I'm using this as an analogy. You're going to have to get certain people on board. You're going to have to meet with certain experts. You need to build certain technologies, and you're going to run into lots of doubt, and you're allowed to run into lots of skepticism. And with certain goals, you might not even get there, right? And there are other parts of life that you might find more important or find more important as you make your way there. You know, that's why, again, another cliche saying, it's not the destination, it's the journey. And I bring this up because I set this goal last year, or almost 2 years ago now, to make $50K a year, working from any location in the world, working 20 hours a week, right? Because if I could do that, I can do a lot of other things. That was like, because really what that was allowing me to do essentially was to release my time from money. So I'm not necessarily working on basically I have either an extremely high hourly rate or I'm working for a certain amount of results for people, right? Whether it be getting customers for a business. And I accomplish it, right? Multiple times over. And throughout that process, I've hit lots of like, is this thing that I'm working on really worth it? Is this thing going to work? You know? And I'm making this message because I was just thinking about like how often that for a lot of people, they don't know what they want to do, right? Or they do, but then they change their mind. And the people that I've noticed and the people that I work with that are successful, that are that have lots of money and lots of success by the the American standards for sure, is that they make a decision and then they work their ass off to get there. And what happens a lot of the time? It doesn't work out like it's planned, right? They have a plan, but it doesn't work out as planned. They fail, they bomb, they make a mistake, or a mistake happens, or it just doesn't come out the way it does, and they lose a bunch of money. Or they improvise and they find a way to get there, right? And that's really what I really mean. It's improvisation. You have to improv your way all the way to your goal, right? But the problem is see, that's not the hard part. The hard part is choosing, right? Like, for example, I was talking to someone about wanting to get into acting and becoming a star and doing that kind of stuff. I really didn't get into detail exactly what he wanted, but what do you want? What is the top of the cream of the crop when you want to get into acting? Well, you want to be like someone famous, like Tom Cruise, The Rock, Kevin Hart, who's ever famous right now, right? And you want to be this big superstar, It's a humongous goal. It's basically almost ridiculous, right? However, if you set your mind to it, you'll get there probably. But then you might not either, because lots of people don't, And I bring this up because once you choose what it is that you want to do and you work your ass off to get there, it is just a matter of time until you get there. The problem is, this is the problem. It's not changing your mind, and it's about choosing, right? So, because my goal was to make $50K a year, working 20 hours a week, and I did that, and I have all this free time, and I'm just like, I get there, I'm like, where am I going? What am I doing? Am I making YouTube videos? What is my purpose in life, right? Do I want to hang out with my kids all day, And what the reality is, I want more than all of that, I mean, like, if you really want to overgeneralize what I want to have fun, I want to make lots of money, I want to be successful, I want to take care of my family, and I want to overcome my fears and anxieties that I have with people, right? And other things that I have, right? It's so open-ended and it's wide. Like this video right now I'm making, it's so sort of, I mean, it was sort of focused on this idea of like, okay, how to get whatever you want in life, right? But then you see how it's splitting into other things. Because the problem is, as you reach each marker of your goal, you're going to find that what you set out to do, the things change. Like, for example, I listened to this story with Chipotle, the founder of Chipotle. And his goal originally was to start Chipotle and then make enough money, like a hole-in-the-wall burrito place, right? And then start a fine dining restaurant. That was his goal, right? And then what ended up happening was it didn't turn into that. It turned into something else. It turned into this huge chain. It turned into basically my favorite restaurant, my favorite burrito, and why I'm in love with burritos now. But it turned into this huge thing. It's $1 billion company, or a couple $100 million. I don't know how big it is, but huge, right? And he set out to create this thing in the restaurant business, right? And it turned into something else. And that's sort of the catch. I'm gonna say catch 22. That's the irony in it. Like you become so certain in what it is that you want to accomplish, right? You become so certain in what it is that you want to accomplish, and you work your ass off to get there, and then you get close, and then you start to see success, right? And then you find that you have to pivot and make adjustments and improv along the way to either survive, make sure you take care of your family, your food, yourself, and you find that the thing that you thought you were chasing turned out to be something else. And that happens. It happens a lot. Like, I mean, think about, like, I mean, imagine like Bill Gates starting Microsoft, right? Was his goal to start the, the number one operating system in the world, right? At the time, was Steve Jobs, Steve Jobs was his goal to make the number one phone in the world. I mean, they didn't. They went out with a ridiculous amount of intensity to build something great, something impactful, something important to them that they think that would make a difference in the world or whatever in their head. Make them a lot of money, make them successful, change the world, feed their ego, whatever it might be, right? the point is they went in with intensity, right? And that is what it means. So I'm having this conversation with you, and I'm talking to you, and I don't even know exactly what I'm going to say, but I have a sense for it. I said, how to get whatever you want in life. Guaranteed, right? That's basically the title. This is going to be a title. That's a pretty good title, right? It's really about intensity, right? It's about certainty, being certain with what you want to accomplish, and then working your ass off with the ridiculous amount of intensity to get there, right? You know, you're going to have some doubt along the way, but you're basically 51% sure, right? That's why you're pushing all in, right? And what's so funny about it is that along the way, it just all changes, but you're still so certain of your direction. You know what I mean? And I bring this up because it's like I'm telling you that if whatever you want to accomplish in life, you want to get there as hard as you can. You want to push with a ridiculous amount of intensity and fierce effort, right? And you have to be so sure about what you want to accomplish. But I'm telling you that it's going to change, you know, and that you're going to have to make adjustments, and that what you set out to accomplish will most likely not be exactly how you picture it, right? Like, another example of someone that I follow that I really like is Tim Ferriss, right? He said he made this book, The 4-Hour Workweek, bestseller, right? Everybody, that's what I want. I want it to make a best-selling novel or something, or nonfiction book, right? And become a New York Times bestseller, you know? But of course, everyone who writes a book generally, not everybody, but I guess a lot of people want to get on that radar, right? Or I was listening to an interview with George R.R. Martin and Stephen King, right? And they were talking to each other. It's pretty cool. Like, George R.R. Martin, humongous right now with Game of Thrones. And then you got Stephen King, like basically the best-selling author in the world, or one of the top, 5 for sure, And they set out to build great stories, build whatever it is that they're building, that they're passionate about, they love. And they were so certain about what they're doing, and they got enthralled with the process, of making it, whatever that meant for them at the time. And it's going to change. And I'm going to tie this all together, right? This is the biggest thing that I learned from powerlifting and training, and why I tend to be hard on myself about working out all the time, is that training is about intensity, and intensity is about life. And the more intense you are, the more likely you're going to accomplish, The unfortunate reality of this, which I'm going to go on a tangent here a little bit, is that success is completely opposed to happiness in lots of respects. Not all, but lots of them. Making lots of money, building something great. That means being dissatisfied. It means working hard to make it perfect and better. That means you're being unhappy with what you got and then building something greater. It means, so that's sort of the issue, right? I heard this quote, Naval Ravikant, on the Tim Ferriss podcast. I listened to this podcast episode like probably 3 or 4 or 5 times now. And he says, if you want to be successful, surround yourself with people that are more successful than you. If you want to be happy, surround yourself with people that are less successful than you. That's Naval Ravikant, and he's the starter of what's called Angel List, I think is his business, one of his businesses. And you think about that for a second, it's like, wow. So that kind of blew me away, and I still think about this to this day. Do I want to be happy? Do I want to be successful? So I've just personal explaining to you what I have. I still want to make lots of money, but not that much money, whatever that means. What's that mean? It means I don't need to make $100 million, a couple million, like $2 million is good. It sounds ridiculous, I know, but I'm just saying, that's, and I see the path, right? It's just a matter of do I really want to charge? See, this is where I'm stuck, right? Do I want to charge hard of making all this money, and kind of going through this difficult process, or am I okay with just getting there slowly, And I've sort of come to the conclusion what I care about most, well, people and family, right? This is why I talk about overcoming my fears with people and anxiety, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what matters. But working with cool people you like, people that you get along with, people that you work well with, people that you trust, because that's what we want. I mean, even if you're working at a department store, or if you're working at a hedge fund, you want to work with cool people no matter what. Maybe everyone has that experience of working with some douchebag, right? Or some annoying coworker that gets on your nerves. And at the end of the day, no matter how much you make, whether you're making a couple million a year or making, you know, 20,000, a modest salary or income hourly, you want to work with cool people, right? You want to work with people that you like, you know, not people that you tolerate, people that you like, right? And again, going on a tangent, but how to get whatever you want out of life guaranteed. You pick something and you just go as hard as you fucking can. You just go hard, right? And know that along the way, you're going to hit some snags, you're going to make some adjustments, but even though you'll change your mind, you're not really, I mean, you'll change your mind in the way you do it, but not towards the goal, right? And often, this is my best recommendation. This is not easy to do, but this is my recommendation. If you can like push as hard as you can towards something, right, that you're not sure about, you just go, right? It's okay if you change it later, you know, but the thing is that you just keep going until you get there or until you find a better picture. Because what will happen along the way is you're going to find that it's gonna, like I said before, it's gonna change. But understand that you really have to accomplish a lot first. Meaning, like, example, someone who wants to lose 50 pounds, right? You got to lose like 10, 20, 30 pounds before you make any adjustments. You know, you got to get your diet on track before you even make a small adjustment. You know, and then you're gonna find it's like, oh, I got too much saggy skin, or my chest is small, or my legs are skinny, or you're gonna put more focus on certain areas. But there's nothing change that you want to lose 50 pounds. You know, just how you get to the 50 pounds sort of changes. And I hope that makes sense. So the thing is, you got to have the intensity of an intention. That's my new, there you go, TM right there. Intensity of intention towards this, you know, 50 pounds or whatever that 50 pounds might be. It could be, you know, colonizing Mars like Elon Musk, you know, or you know, making the next breaking mobile device, or it could be starting an internet company, or raising great children and good people. It could be, you know, writing a best-selling novel. The thing is that you just have to go as hard as you freaking can. And if you can't look so far out to something huge like, you know, colonizing Mars, maybe you set something to setting 10 pounds and you work like hell with intensity, right? That's why that video I made, Discipline Equals Freedom, is something I think about, because the process is still going to be the most important. It's going to be doing the daily things that you don't feel like doing on a regular basis. And then as you do that, you find magic happens. Like this video, for example. I feel like this is a magical video because I didn't know this was going to happen. You know, I didn't think that this was going to be that good. You know, to me, it feels really good. You know, will it be received good? I already know that the title is going to be pretty good, you know. However, I don't know how well it's going to be received by everybody else. But I do know I'm going to send this to my email list. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Click like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And I'll see you guys all on the next video.